This is Michael Popok for the new Legal AF YouTube channel. We got a new sentencing of a fraud criminal defendant in federal court that I think may provide a roadmap for Judge Merchan when he gets around to sentencing Donald Trump for his 34-count felony conviction in November the 26th. I'm talking about another high-profile public debacle and fraud committed by Sam Bankman-Freed and his then-girlfriend, Carolyn Ellison, which brought FTX low, losing billions of dollars related to cryptocurrency. Sam Bankman-Freed famously ran this Ponzi scheme for years involving Carolyn Ellison. The difference is Carolyn Ellison cooperated fully with the prosecutors, the federal prosecutors, and therefore, while facing 100 years of potential sentence, she got away with only 2 years by Judge Lewis Kaplan, same judge that was presiding over the two cases of E. Jean Carroll for sex abuse and punitive damages and other damages against Donald Trump. This federal judge said he's never seen a cooperating witness in his lifetime provide more valuable assistance and get more abuse heaped on her by both the media and by Sam Bankman-Freed than Carolyn Ellison. And he imposed a sentence of just 2 years in prison, telling her that I still have to send you to jail, and I'm going to have you forfeit $11 billion, that's with a B, of your assets fraudulently obtained. So she got stripped of $11 billion. Think about that. This 30-year-old woman, 30-year-old person had $11 billion that she forfeited to the government. That's how much they made multiples of that in their Ponzi scheme. Donald Trump did not cooperate with the government. He's more like Sam Bankman-Freed. Sam Bankman-Freed took billions and billions of dollars in cryptocurrency deposits, used them in a company, an affiliate of his that he hid called Alameda Ventures, and is now looking at 25 years. He's sitting in prison for 25 years as a result. He also used that opportunity to try to intimidate Carolyn Ellison, his former girlfriend, do some witness tampering on the side, which was noted by the judge, who revoked his pretrial release. He was put back in jail before the trial itself because of his conduct in trying to witness tamper Carolyn Ellison. Does this sound familiar? So as between Sam Bankman-Freed, who got 25 years for multiple counts of business fraud and other fraud, and Carolyn Ellison, and got 25 years, and Carolyn Ellison, who cooperated fully and was subjected to the abuse heaped on her by Sam Bankman-Freed, and she got 2 years. Along that continuum, where do you think Donald Trump should fit? Now, look, we're talking about state versus federal, but it's not exactly apples to oranges. Federal crimes sometimes lead to harsher sentences, but it depends on cooperation. The problem with Donald Trump is he'll never cut a deal. He'll never cooperate. If he had already gone in months ago to the Manhattan DA's office and worked a deal, I'll plead guilty to a misdemeanor. I'll do community service and I'll pay back money or I'll forfeit money. This would have been over. Donald Trump always wanted to use the criminal cases as his campaign fodder, as a reason for him to win the election and to campaign on the back of it, and to use it to triangulate, to bash the criminal justice system, bash federal judges and their families, bash state court judges and their family, bash prosecutors, federal and state, and their families, and jurors and their families, and grand jurors and their families, and the list goes on. It's a calculated decision by Donald Trump, but that's where he gets to pay the price. Because what he doesn't realize is all of his conduct inside and outside the courtroom leading up to the moment of sentencing by Judge Juan Merchan on November the 26th in New York court will be used against him, evaluated by the judge and used against him. Justice Lewis Kaplan, in another high-profile fraud case, just gave 25 years to Sam Bankman-Freed and 2 years to Carolyn Ellison, who cooperated fully with the government. Donald Trump's not going to get any cooperation credit. He's not going to get any contrition credit. He's not going to get any acceptance of responsibility credit. He will instead, the mitigating factors are gone. The exacerbating factors, the aggregating factors, the ones that ratchet this number higher and higher are the fact that he's gone after Judge Merchan and Judge Merchan's daughter mercilessly. He's arranged to have Judge Merchan's daughter subpoenaed by MAGA Congress. He's gone after the prosecutor, Alvin Bragg, and everybody that works in the prosecution team, including Matt Colangelo. He's going after their families. He's sent the angry mob with pitched forks at Alvin Bragg, at Judge Merchan. There's been an increase exponentially of death threats and violent rhetoric and violent threats, which you know where that leads. Threats become action, especially with people trying to pick up their Second Amendment rights, as Donald Trump talks about. And so, and when Donald Trump picks up a baseball bat and puts it next to a picture of the Manhattan DA's head, Alvin Bragg, and threatens to brain him, where does that lead? Doesn't just lead to Butler, Pennsylvania. Doesn't just lead to Mar-a-Lago with a guy with a gun sticking out of a bush. It leads to other violent crime. So there's been the Department of Public Safety in New York has said there's an exponential layer of threat assessment, threat attacks against Judge Merchan and his family, against Matt Colangelo, against the district attorney, Alvin Bragg. So it's the opposite of what Carolyn Ellison, who's sort of in her criminality a role model. First thing she did at the time of sentencing was to apologize again to the court and to society for what she had done in a tearful, heartfelt, authentic apology. And the judge took that into account. That's why both the federal prosecutors against Carolyn Ellison and the judge almost said the same thing at the same time. They said they've never seen a witness who cooperated more, who provided more incriminating evidence against the target of the prosecution, which was Sam Bankman-Freed, than Carolyn Ellison, and she should be commended for that in trying to start to return to society after 2 years. Prosecutors went further. They said, well, they've never seen a witness whose more scorn was heaped on, more attacks, vitriolic attacks were aimed at on social media than Carolyn Ellison. And yet, she had the courage at the end to save her own hide and go against the former boyfriend who was trying to witness tamper and abuse her and undermine her while he was out from pretrial detention, which had Sam Bankman-Freed go back to pretrial detention, much like we're watching Puff Daddy. It's very, very similar. And the link here between the case I'm describing as a template, as a blueprint for the state court proceedings on November the 26th is Judge Kaplan. Because Judge Kaplan, again, presided over E. Jean Carroll and the case brought against him for what would be now rape in New York, then sexual assault. And the $100 million award by 2 separate juries in combination in New York. We'll continue to follow all the things that Donald Trump is doing on the campaign trail that'll end up being part of the assessment brought forward by the Manhattan DA to encourage Judge Merchan to do the right thing and put Donald Trump in jail for somewhere, I predict, between 2 and 4 years. Could be less, could be a year and a day, could be 6 months home confinement, 6 months in prison, but I think that's the message. What else do you send in New York, the financial capital of the world, for somebody that's committed 34 felony count conviction for business record fraud and other crimes by a unanimous 12-person jury? You have to support the jury. We have a jury system in our public justice system. To ignore the jury, to nullify the jury, to say, yes, you worked hard to listen to all the evidence over weeks and weeks of testimony, and you concluded beyond a reasonable doubt that Donald Trump is a criminal 34 times over, but I'm going to give him a slap on the wrist because that's what I intend to do because he's a first-time offender. No. First-time offender for 34 felony counts. That's like saying he's a first-time offender. But he set 34 fires during his arson spree. Enough. And I think the judge who lives in New York, who has eyes and ears and reads the paper just like I do, and maybe is even a fan of Legal AF on Midas Touch and on Legal AF, the new YouTube channel, is watching what Judge Kaplan, a well-respected jurist, has done with the difference between Sam Bankman-Freed at 25 years and Carolyn Ellison in 2 years. And you know where on the continuum I believe Donald Trump should lie. So this is our new YouTube channel. Welcome. If you haven't already, go out and free subscribe and help us get to 100,000 free subscribers by Halloween. That's my goal. 100,000 by Halloween. We're already more than halfway there. And it's only been a week. Well, I've been doing this for a long time with the Midas Touch Network, and we're doing this channel in collaboration with the Midas Touch Network. Legal AF MTN. Send it to your friends and family, people in your life. Free subscribe. Maybe you missed the first 100,000, first 500,000 build over on the community of Midas Touch. Help us build it here. That's our mama, our papa, our brothers. But we're doing some amazing things here. I'll be curating at the intersection of law and politics the best stories without blowing smoke or sunshine, political and legal commentary like no other. Find out what 40 million people a month already know. That Legal AF is the home of legal and political commentary and analysis you can't find anywhere else on YouTube. I defy you to find something better than what we're doing here. So thank you for being here. Free subscribe. Until my next hot take, until my next Legal AF podcast, Wednesdays and Saturdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on the Midas Touch YouTube channel, and my hot takes there, and my new original content you can only find on Legal AF MTN. This is Michael Popak reporting. In collaboration with the Midas Touch Network, we just launched the Legal AF YouTube channel. Help us build this pro-democracy channel where I'll be curating the top stories at the intersection of law and politics. Go to YouTube now and free subscribe at Legal AF MTN. That's at Legal AF MTN.